Well, welcome to a presentation about drives by Danfoss, who is going to be at WEFTEC stand 1241. And our interview today is going to be with Jeff Bergman, assisted by Nicole Finley. And before we actually move into that, Jeff, would you like to give us just a little bit of your background, your position, and perspective, if you would, please?
Sure, I'd be glad to. We appreciate the opportunity for this. And my name is Jeff Bergman. I've been with Danfoss for 19 years. Started off as a field application guy in the state of Florida and have worked my way through to my current position, which is the product manager for the Aqua product, the FC202 product that we do. And I started my career working for General Electric, working for Westinghouse Eaton Corporation on the switchgear side. So my background has been extensively on drives, electrical equipment, switchgear, power distribution equipment, much more on the electrical side of variable frequency drive.
Yeah, that's interesting background and obviously a lot of experience. So we're going to look forward to hearing more about 4 decades of VFD technology. So if you would, proceed.
Well, you know, Danfoss has a proud background in variable frequency drives. We were the first manufacturer in the world to mass produce drives. We invented the VLT5, which is back one slide. The VLT5 was 141 pounds, and it had 5.3 gallons of oil in it, and it was a 5 horsepower drive. And that was the first mass produced drive in the world. So we've been pioneering a lot of the technologies. Some of the things we're looking at here on the screen with the Aqua product series, a very extensive product line from a fractional horsepower to 1,300 horsepower with a variety of the voltages available throughout the world. Also enclosure ratings, some of the newer things we're promoting is a NEMA 4X rating of the units, 50 degrees C, 122 degrees Fahrenheit, allows you to mount the drive outside where it needs to be, not necessarily where it has to be. We've done some great innovations on size in the technologies with our new D-frame series being a little bit smaller, really reduce the size using some very innovative heat pipe technology in the heat sinks, allowing you to dissipate the heat and get it out of the heat sink and out of the components so that they get longer life. That also allows us to separate the air paths by allowing the air to flow. 85% of the heat generated by a drive is in the heat sink. So by separating the electronics from that, you keep all that air from flowing through and across the circuit boards. You separate those two compartments. You move all your big volume of air and your heat out, and then your electronics stay cooler with different airflows into there. So that allows you to isolate the hydrogen sulfide gas and impurities that we see in the air in our market. Part of that also allows you to mount the heat sinks out the back to get the heat out of the panels. A lot of innovative technologies in that, allowing, again, keeping the 85% of the heat out of the unit. Our higher horsepower product line has been out for about 5 or 6 years now. This starts at 700 horsepower. This is a parallel inverters. And then as some of the newer innovations we've come up with, this is the low harmonic drive. This is actually a drive mounted here on the right, made it up next to an active filter on the left. 3 wires in, 3 wires out. Power factor correction also inside of there, utilizing here the active filter that allows you to reduce the electrical harmonics in the power distribution systems down to below 5% voltage distortion, typically about 1.6% voltage, and power factor running about 0.98, 0.99, depending on the size of the system. So one of the other advantages we have in the drive is the advanced waveform. Our drive allows a motor to be mounted up to 1,000 feet away, and we still can maintain control and rotation of the shaft of the motor. And when you have issues of bearing currents and other issues, we can utilize these common mode filters, which mount around the wires, and you can see here on the left and the right. Without the filters is on the left, with the filters is on the right, and does a phenomenal job of reducing the bearing currents, stray voltages, and for those of you in Europe, reducing the RFI generated by the drives. Continuing with the output filters, we have a huge selection of output filters, DVDT or DUDT filters, which really suppress the current spikes that the drive sees, the motor sees by the output of the drive, suppressing the voltage and the current. The sine wave filter going one step further and really cleaning up the voltage and making it look very sinusoidal, taking the noise and the DVDTs and bearing currents and RFI and other things generated. We also make a line of passive harmonic filters. Those harmonic filters are designed, again, as a 3-wire in, 3-wire out solution. We like to optimize that and make things simple to do. The harmonic filter reduces the current distortion from either 10% or 5%, depending on which version you have. They have NEMA 1 kits, which can be mounted out in an enclosure with a contactor. Constant pressure, that's a word we're hearing a lot in the irrigation, the agricultural market, on smaller applications. Constant pressure solutions utilizing a variable frequency drives. Our drive has a PID controller, so you put a pressure transmitter in the line, and it maintains constant pressure in the system. It can be mounted outdoor, and it can also be used in parallel systems, utilizing the cascade controller that you see here. The drive by itself, without additional PLCs, can maintain up to 8 additional pumps off of one drive, using either variable frequency drives or starters or soft starters to run those. And kind of what we're looking here to do is simplify things, and part of what we do with some of our newer technology on programming is using Smart Start technology. Smart Start allows you to program the drive literally with a click of a button. You turn the unit on and it walks you through a menu-driven application so that you can program the drive. You don't have to search for specific parameters. You don't have to go 300 or 400 parameters. You go through the ones that you only need to program based off of your applications, utilizing, again, water and pumps and some of the specific questions and things that we see in our market. In addition, for specific applications that you may want to run, we have a quick menu, and we have short menus that take you to sleep mode and deragging and other features. As I said earlier, quality has been a very big thing that Danfoss has prided itself on, and we're the only manufacturer out there who shows and does 100% testing. 100% of our products are tested on a loaded motor at the factory before they're shipped. So you can always say that we actually sell used drives instead of new drives because they've all been run on loaded motors. Being able to add communication options and relays and additional inputs and outputs is a big, nice feature here. Plug-and-play technology. You literally open the keypad, plug the new unit in. You can see here on the right behind the keypad, the communication cards are always in the top, and the additional relay options are in the bottom. Danfoss also manufactures soft starters, which gives you the ability to electronically ramp up and ramp down in a softer way pumps, reducing water hammer, making your equipment last a little bit longer. And as some of our free features, some things that you can get for free from Danfoss, you can download our Energy Toolbox. It's available on the web. There's a QR code on the screen. In addition to a computer programming capability, MCT10, Motion Control Tool 10, allows you to program the drive from a PC or a laptop with utilizing a very, very small USB cable, flat to square A to B. We also offer a very complex harmonic analysis software, which allows you to simulate and come up with different harmonic solutions. And then our greatest feature, I think one of the best features Danfoss has, is we're the only manufacturer who can offer a 6-year on-site manufacturer's warranty covering lightning, transients, surges, electrical anomalies, anything that you could run into in the market that would cause your equipment to possibly fail or be damaged. Our drive will protect itself from that. And if you have a problem, you can call our service and warranty people, and they will repair the equipment accordingly. Now the presentation is kind of repeating it, so I'm going to kick back to Bob if he has any questions.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting presentation. Let's talk a little bit about the international market and the concern about harmonics. Does it differ from one region to another?
Yeah, that's a great question because it's interesting. In North America, we're very much considered with electrical harmonics. In Central Europe, some of the emerging markets, we're not seeing the issue with harmonics. It's more of a power factor issue. We do see harmonics becoming a bigger issue throughout Europe and some of the parts of Asia. Electrical harmonics are kind of a decrease in efficiency of the system, kind of like a power factor. If you can reduce the harmonics, you can reduce the power consumed or wasted by the harmonics that are generated by the drive. And then in the RFI issues, radio frequency interference is a higher frequency than the electrical harmonics. Electrical harmonics are typically multiples of the 3-phase power, so we would go up to the 50th harmonic as a multiple of 3. RFI, radio frequency interference, is much higher frequency, and affects, because it's radiated, it affects people, it affects other very sensitive electronic equipment, while harmonics can cause transformers to overheat, some imbalances on the loads. We don't really get a lot of electrical failures from electrical harmonics, but yeah, it is very regional. Also from an engineering standpoint, some engineers are very concerned about it and some aren't, so it's even regional across North America.
One of the big concerns in wastewater plants is the energy in the wastewater blowers. I see you listed those, you know, where your variable speed drives are used. Of course, they're one of the big energy consumers, your aerators and things like that. So the ability to keep that constant pressure, I would assume, is critical in keeping the energy consumption where it should be. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, you're right on there. Aeration, typically the blowers operate anywhere from 50 to 80% of the power consumed in the wastewater plant. So that's a great place to start. And a lot of times we use dissolved oxygen meters to detect the amount of oxygen. And for years we've always just said, hey, more oxygen is better, keeps the bugs alive. One of the drawbacks to that, though, is we end up with little foaming issues. We end up building or developing lazy bugs that don't always eat the waste products that we're trying to break down. And then what the variable frequency drive allows you to do is reduce the air so you can maintain that 1.6 to 2 parts per million oxygen content that we need, whether that's through a fine bubbler, coarse bubbler, diffusers, other different styles of aeration types. But by optimizing that oxygen content, the bugs stay alive, they do a great job, and you get a very significant energy savings, as you indicated.
Yeah, that's certainly important. But I think we're going to look forward to seeing your stand at WEF. But before we do that, I'd also like to move to your website and just to take a look at how someone who is wanting more information on this is going to get it. So what we'll do is we'll just type in the very simple website address.
Yeah, danfoss.com.
Have to learn how to spell first, but other than that.
Yeah, I start on, that's how I start when I go digging for information. I go to danfoss.com, and that brings us to our corporate international site. And from here you can get any and all information, regardless of the region that you're in. All of the information that you're looking for is at one point. For what I'm looking for very specifically in the variable frequency drives is I always go into the top pull-down menu. I go to business areas, and I select VLT drives from there.
VLT drives, okay.
The VLT drives, now this runs us to the division that both Nicole and I work for, which is the variable frequency drive groups. And if you look here on the left, you'll see a plethora, big word here, of information available from our configurator, where you actually configure a drive into our 39-character part number, brochures, fact sheets, software downloads, the different communication options we have. In addition to, and I know a lot of your people out there are wanting to know, how do I get a Danfoss manual or instruction manual or something, and even drawings. And you can see over here on the left-hand side, underneath Drive Configurator, there you have, as you work your way down there, there's a Drive Configurator where you can configure the drive. Below that is the manuals, the approvals. If you're in Europe or the Middle East and you're worried about the CCC rating or the CE rating or in the United States, the UL rating, we've got all those listed on our website, so you can very quickly go through that. But here's a drive configurator, and if you were at another time to go down and click the link there, you can go to the drive configurator, configure your own products. Work one more down there on the left, Bob. You'll see the manuals, approvals, and drawings. And a lot of engineers, a lot of users, OEMs, just about everybody out there might be interested in this because you've got basically anything you could need. From the manuals to the approvals and certifications to the PDF or DXF or step type drawings. You know, a lot of times we get a question about is this approved for water? Is it approved for use on the Navy boats or in marine applications or CE or UL or CTIC or C++, all those different applications. If you go down 2 more, you can see brochures and fact sheets for more of the sales-orientated questions and interests from some of your customers, as opposed to the very technical design guides and instruction manuals we saw under the other one.
If someone is interested in wastewater specifically too, are there case histories and things that would relate to the municipal wastewater plants?
Well, usually what we do, we encourage the customer to call one of our manufacturer's reps and get those directly from the manufacturer's reps. We put those case histories and the application notes and those kind of things in the hands of our reps so that they can tailor the responses closer to what the customer needs. Putting a generic application or case study up there doesn't always work for what the customer might need, and we give our reps the flexibility to kind of tailor it to what the customer specifically is looking for.
And in terms of contacting the reps, you would start with some contract at this point in time and then go.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you just go to the contact and go down to sales and service.
Yeah.
And that gives you both the sales contacts all over the world and the service contacts all over the world. In the United States, we've got 150 service companies spread out throughout North America and Canada and Mexico. Our sales organizations are set up the same way, from sales offices, again, looking at North America, from the U.S. and Canada and Hawaii and Guam and some of those areas.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, you've got a very complete local addresses and things here, too, don't you?
Yeah. With good contact and, again, technical resources, application engineers in almost every facility out there. So you've got a very strong capability. When you get a phone call into somebody, you're going to be able to get somebody who can answer the questions, hopefully, or get you to the right person who can.
Right. Well, this has been very informative, and I thank both of you for spending the time today, and we're going to look forward to talking to your stand at WEFTEC. And we'll also be in contact. We're going to end the recording, but we'll be in contact with you offline. But thank you very much. It was very informative, and I wish you luck at WEFTEC.
Thanks, Bob. We appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.